Hi everyone. Today, Kyler, one of our functional medicine providers, will be giving a quick overview of continuous glucose monitors, what they are, how they work, and how we use them at Healthspan to optimize metabolic health. Thank you, Kyler.
All right. Hi, everybody. Um, I'm super excited to talk today about continuous glucose monitors. It's something that I've been interested in personally for a long time. I've worn a few, and also something that has been a really powerful tool for some of my patients. So excited to share this information with you, and hopefully you guys will all learn something. So what are the advantages of using continuous glucose monitors for wellness and health span? There's three kind of main reasons why a functional medicine provider or a healthcare provider might recommend a continuous glucose monitor to somebody who does not have diabetes. And the first of those is that you get real-time lifestyle biofeedback. So you can see real-time feedback of how different foods or activities are impacting your glucose levels. And that can really help motivate some lifestyle change or confirm that what you're doing is working. The other thing is metabolic health awareness. So you can kind of track, using the CGM, you can track some of those changes in glucose variability to see some early signs of metabolic dysfunction, if that's the concern, or just see how different foods are affecting your blood sugar levels. And then the third reason is for personalized optimization. So clients who use continuous glucose monitors are really able to tailor their nutrition, activity, and even their stress management strategies to really help optimize their glucose levels. One of my personal favorite reasons why to use a continuous glucose monitor is because I feel that they are really empowering to patients. It really empowers the patient and the client to be a part of their own health journey. So a little overview of CGM technology. So here you can see this is probably, it's a circle, so it looks like a Lingo or a Freestyle Libre. But the continuous glucose monitor is a little sensor that goes on the back of the arm most often. And it connects to either your cell phone or to a reader itself, and gives real-time feedback on what your blood sugar levels are. There's a few products that are available without prescription over the counter. One is called a Lingo, and that is made or produced by Abbott. And the other one is called Stelo, which is a Dexcom product. Stelo actually integrates into Aura. So if you're using an Aura ring, you only need one app if you're using that type of CGM, which is kind of nice. There are a few different CGMs that are available by prescription. They're commonly used for patients with diabetes. And the key differences between them just typically has to do with whether or not it needs to be calibrated, or how long you can wear one. The accuracy of the CGM really depends on a few different factors. So I like to just kind of go over them because some of those factors can impact the performance of your CGM. Whether or not you're hot or cold, the placement of the sensor can impact the accuracy, especially if there's a lot of scar tissue where the sensor's going in. If there's compression on the CGM, so sometimes you'll get false low readings because somebody is laying down on their CGM and putting some pressure on there. And then there's also some different medications that can affect accuracy too. Next slide. And then what does research and evidence say about CGM use for wellness? So I think it's really important to talk about this, that there's not a ton of data that really demonstrates that CGMs are useful in preclinical patients. So preclinical refers to patients who do not have diabetes or prediabetes. But there is a ton of really clear evidence that CGM use is good for patients with diabetes and prediabetes. We're even seeing some emerging evidence with prediabetes reversal for patients who are using continuous glucose monitors to become more aware of their own blood sugar control. And I think this is just important to know that there's not a lot of evidence, but it's really not a good reason not to use CGMs for patients who don't have diabetes or prediabetes. There's a lot of good reasons why we might want to use them in the wellness space. So what can a CGM tell you? So if you want to wear a CGM for wellness, let's talk about just some normal ranges and kind of what you're going to be looking for when you're using this device. Typically, most people are going to spend between, around 95 to 98% of the time with your blood sugar in a range between 70 and 180. You should have minimal time spent above 180. It's usually going to be after meals where you might pop up into the 200s, but that amount of time should be pretty minimal. For patients who have prediabetes or some early signs of metabolic dysfunction, one of the first things you'll notice is that they'll have more increased time with blood sugar levels that are higher than 180. So that's kind of a sign that we're leaving that normal glycemic range. The other thing that you're going to see with a CGM is you're going to see your glucose variability. So when we're talking about glucose variability, we're wondering, is your blood sugar going up during the day? And what is causing that? Is it food? Is it exercise? Is it stress? There's a whole lot of different things that can affect your glucose metabolism. And so glucose variability, which we're starting to really understand a lot more about what that actually means. High variability in people is a lot more common than previously thought. So some people who have very normal glucose metabolism might put a CGM on and see like, oh my gosh, my blood sugar is all over the place. So it's a lot more common than we thought. And sometimes what we can see is high variability can be a marker of just metabolic instability. So reducing that variability can prevent oxidative stress, it can lower inflammation, it can prevent cardiovascular disease, insulin resistance, and then other long-term health complications. There's a great book that I'll recommend at the end of this presentation as a resource if you're interested in learning more about glucose variability. Some other things. What else can a CGM tell you? So what I always educate patients on when they want to wear a CGM is that we are going to focus on trends and not isolated readings. So like I said, this is a very good biofeedback tool. We're looking for you to learn what kinds of things are causing blood sugar spikes for you. So what's causing your blood sugar to go up over 200? Are there specific foods that are causing that? Is it stressful events that are causing your blood sugar to go up? A lot of people will notice that after a night of poor sleep, their blood sugar levels will be a lot more elevated than after a night of good sleep. And so that's really what we're looking for, is what are those underlying trends in your lifestyle that are having an impact on your blood sugar levels. In the blood sugar, or in Glucose Revolution, the book that I'll recommend at the end of this, there's a bunch of practical tips for how to stabilize your glucose variability. One of them might be to pair carbohydrates with protein and fiber when you're eating. So I just slipped out of my head what she says, but I think she says something along the lines of packaging those things together. So you always have carbs with the protein source. There's some other ideas like ways to sequence your meals, what you're eating first, typically your protein, and those kinds of practices can also help stabilize your blood sugar. And then other things like engaging in some light physical activity, so going for a walk right after a meal, those are all different ways to lower blood sugar spikes and reduce those blood sugar spikes. And wearing a CGM is a really good way to see that in action. So I always just remind people that these CGMs are really good awareness tools for you. And then, so if you're looking for more information about how to balance blood sugar or some more data about the things that I've been talking about in this presentation, this book is a great place to start, Glucose Revolution. It has a lot of practical tips of how to minimize blood sugar spikes, and then a ton of information about what blood sugar spikes might do to you in terms of the impact of high glucose variability on your mental health, physical health, and your risk for chronic illness. So typically what I will recommend to people is to start with this. So read this book first. That's really going to give you the knowledge base that you need to get the most you can out of the time that you're wearing your CGM.
Kyler, thank you so much for your presentation on continuous glucose monitors. As always, if anybody has any questions or would like any follow-up information, please feel free to reach out to myself or Kyler, and we'd be happy to follow up with more. Our upcoming classes include Chris Lindley on muscle as the organ of longevity, and Jen, our nutritionist, on building and maintaining a healthy relationship with food. As always, we have our Surf Synergy Retreat in Costa Rica from November 1st through the 8th. You can learn more at vailhealth.org/retreat. Okay, everybody, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you for the next masterclass.